Johnny, we've been talking about the European market, and I was saying earlier to our analyst in London that there are lots of things being said, lots of views about Europe, but not much has actually happened. And when there is an event like a G7 conference or an ECB interest rate announcement, not much actually happens. So the markets are almost responding to what people say and think rather than to anything that's actually happened.
Well, I guess often the market's trying to anticipate what's going to happen. So you even saw the market rally in anticipation of the Spanish bank bailout, and then almost selling on the rumor of when the actual news came through. Today's been sort of fairly quiet, sort of news flow wise, but I guess we do have the Greek elections over the weekend. I think as we sort of tend towards the weekend, or obviously on Monday, we will obviously have to digest whatever comes out of those elections. Well,
they're talking about food stocking in Greece. We in South Africa, of course, have our own memories when times of great uncertainty in the 1990s, people stocked up with baked beans. Now, that's the market, if you like, in the terms of the citizens saying that they don't have confidence in what's going to happen over the weekend. What is the best possible outcome from this Greek election that everyone is now putting so much importance on?
I guess the sort of best outcome would be either the New Democracy getting a majority or being able to form a coalition, or Syriza, which is the sort of left-leaning party, being able to form a government. I think what would be sort of quite negative is if Greece went through a second round of elections and was still not able to form a government. But I have seen sort of various sort of political leaders in Greece now saying that whatever transpires, they will actually try and form a government. So, I think we need the Greece needs to be able to form a government, and secondly, that government will then hopefully be able to have some kind of leverage over their EU partners. And maybe get some kind of more conditionality or easing of terms around the Greece bailout packages, so that at least they can go back to their electorate and say, listen, we want to stay in the euro, and we've been able to renegotiate some of the terms of our bailouts.
Let's look at our local market, and it's been interesting over the past week. It's almost every day is an alternative story. So one day the banks go up by 1%, and the next day they all go down by 1%, the big four. Occasionally one of them, like today, APSA improved by more than the others. Similarly with the resources stocks, although the swings have been a bit greater. So we had a good run with resources earlier in the week and then a fallback. We had yesterday two of the biggest losers were gold price, gold-linked, gold price-based shares rather. Goldfields was one of them, I think. So every other day you have a sector giving a bit or taking a bit back.
Yeah, we're in a bit of a news flow lull at the moment. Most of the companies with March year-ends have already reported. We're now running up to sort of 30 June. And July, August, we will start to see their results come out, or at least trading updates, and then we will start to see a bit more sort of directional or sector rotation. At the moment, there's not that much news flow, so presumably people have positioned their portfolios, and there's not that much going on.
People have said that the market will actually go to sleep until those Greek results come in. Looking at our market, there was one big share price jump, and that was Avusa, up 9% on news that Mvela wants to buy all the shares and not just be a major shareholder, but to actually take control. Clearly, the market thinks that that's a good thing. Your analysis of that?
Yeah, not a stock that I'm that close to, but you're correct. I mean, Mvela at the moment owns about 20% of Avusa, so they will make an offer to minorities and effectively acquire 100% of that business, but almost immediately relist that business through another holding company onto the JSE, and then try and maybe get a bit more debt into the new vehicle. But it is really effectively a way of trying to unlock some of the value of Avusa. Those analysts that I've been chatting to in the last couple of days, some of them are of the view that Avusa has not been run that well, quite a siloed business, and sort of the new structure might allow some flattening of those silos and some value for shareholders. That has been a stock that has been under the spotlight for M&A for some time. If you recall, there was a deal I think last year, slightly higher at around 26 Rand. Which ultimately didn't go through. So there's still some uncertainty as to whether this deal will actually go through.
That's right, and there has been boardroom turbulence. A couple of the independent non-executive directors resigned. There is suggestion that this will have a political impact, and I saw one newspaper poster today saying, what will the ANC do with Avusa, which is perhaps putting it a bit strongly.
I mean, yes, I mean, I guess, there's always speculation around government trying to control media. But generally the sort of editorial independence of Avusa has been paramount to them, and they've always tried to maintain that. So
what about,
hopefully, we won't have any kind of government interference in that transaction.
Yeah, African Bank, Abel?
Yeah, it's one that we've been sort of looking at. There's obviously been quite a lot of talk around the bubble in unsecured lending. Abel is one that is now beginning to look cheap, but unfortunately I think the macros, just in terms of how much competition there is in the unsecured space, means probably want a larger margin of safety than just buying Abel at these levels. So they recently came out with their results, their interim results, really sort of growing very quickly, but it doesn't look like the market wants to pay any kind of big multiple for Abel at the moment, so indicating that the market's probably quite scared around unsecured. In the last 2 years, Abel has actually traded at a premium to the other banks, both on a sort of price to NAV and a PE basis, and we've seen over the last 18 months Abel has actually drifted sideways and now is no longer trading at a premium to the bigger banks.
Finally, just your thoughts on Platinum. We've had one mine being put under care and maintenance, another that is retrenching. Platinum, it's acknowledged by the Minister of Mineral and Energy that it's a sector in trouble and we need to talk, she said. What does that say about the value of the shares? Amplats was the biggest gainer today, but on other days the platinum miners have been the biggest losers this week.
Yeah, I mean, the platinums have been sort of quite big underperformers year to date. I mean, part of that is just obviously the troubles in Europe. A large amount of platinum production does go into auto cat converters for vehicles, and a lot of that is sold in Europe. So the demand supply, everybody, I guess, thought that the market might be in a deficit, and it looks like it will ultimately be a surplus. So they've struggled on that side. And I guess what we'll now see is probably just some closures, or hopefully some closures of production. That's what you've seen with Aquarius talking about putting some of their mines on sort of care and maintenance. I don't necessarily think the government has been that helpful in the last sort of 6 to 12 months. A lot of the management that we see on the platinum companies complaining around the large amount of sort of stoppages that they've had for safety incidents, and that's obviously put pressure on their production levels.
That was Johny Lambridis from Element Investment Managers.